Participating in a Yahoo Fantasy Baseball draft is easy and fun. Start by going to your league's homepage. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the time until your draft. 30 minutes before your draft, your league will be ready to accept managers into the draft interface. It'll say something like, "Your league is drafting live now. Enter the draft." When you click on that link, it'll take you to a screen which looks like this. This is the draft interface. It's where you'll make all your picks, where you'll put players into your queue, where you'll see what other managers have picked, and where you'll see how much time you have to make your pick and who's drafting next or last. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the teams participating in your draft. I'm double D, so you can see I have 7 drafts, 7 picks until mine. You can also see the other teams. And you can see the screen move up as it's each person's turn to draft. In the center of your screen, you see the available players to draft. These are ranked according to Yahoo's best player available system. So according to Yahoo, the very next best player on the board is Chris Bryant, followed by Anthony Rizzo, Jose Altuve, and Max Scherzer. As players are drafted, they will be removed, and the next best player will shift all the way up to the top. When it's your turn to draft, you'll click on the player that you want, and under Add to My Queue, right next to Add to My Queue, you'll see a button that says Draft Now. And you'll see that coming up when it's my turn. As you can see, it's my turn to draft, and the best available player is Max Scherzer. So if I want to take Max Scherzer, I'll click on him, and then I'll click Draft Max Scherzer. I'm on the turn, or what's referred to as the end of one round or beginning of the next. You people that are drafting on the turn need to be careful because you'll make 2 consecutive picks right in a row. So now I have another turn to pick because it still says it's my turn to draft. So I'm going to take Mookie Betts with my second pick. It says it's drafted, and that's reflected in the lower right-hand corner where you can see a list of all the people that have drafted. Also on the right-hand side, you'll see my team, and you can see that I have filled 2 of my outfield slots and 1 of my starting pitcher slots. So as you fill your roster, make sure that you're not overdrafting positions you already have, and make sure you're not forgetting about any other positions as well. Above that, you'll see My Queue. So let's talk about My Queue for a little bit. Sometimes it can be stressful to draft in 30 seconds or a minute and a half or whatever time Yahoo demands. So you can help that process by putting players in your queue. So let's say that when it comes time for me to draft next, I might want a first baseman. So let's put Joey Votto. Let's put Chris Davis in my queue. And if none of them are available, then let's go with maybe another outfielder, or maybe worst case scenario, a starting pitcher. As I click on those stars, you'll see that they appear in my queue in the upper right-hand corner in the order that I put them in my queue. So at any point in time, if it's my turn to draft, and I just want to go top of my list, or I want to review only the players that I'm interested in, go up into the upper right-hand corner and pick one. You can draft from there as well, or you can remove them from your queue. Anytime I click on a player, I can see what Yahoo thinks his rank should be this year. I can also view his 2015 statistics, as well as his projected statistics for 2016. They're back-to-back right there. At the top, I can add him to my queue, or I can remove him from my queue if he's already in my queue. Let's say I want to draft a catcher with my next pick, or I want to see who the next best available catchers are. Right now, it's set to all players. So if I click on catchers, it will sort only the best available catchers left available in the draft. So as you can see, Schwarber and Lucroy and Martin are the next 3 best available catchers according to Yahoo. But be careful. It might be your turn to draft and you might see only catchers. So instead of getting into a panic, make sure you click back to all players if you don't want to look specifically at catchers. I can also look specifically for a particular player. So let's say Trevor Story, has had a great first couple games of the year, and I want to see where he's going. So I can search for Trevor Story, and it says Yahoo thinks he's the 232nd best available player. And if I want, I can add him into my queue. Oh, it looks like I'm next up to draft, so I better be ready. Oh, they took Chris Davis right in front of me. So now I'm going to have to go back to the big board and determine another starting pitcher. It looks like the board is heavy with pitchers right now, so maybe I'll draft Matt Harvey. And then because, again, I'm on the turn, I'll have 2 picks right in a row. Maybe I'll take Justin Upton with my next pick. As you can see on the right-hand side, you'll see my team filling up. You can see 3 players in the outfield position, and as I swipe down, you can see 2 starting pitchers that I've drafted. So it looks as though I'm a little light right now on catcher, first, second, third, short, but my outfield and starting pitchers are in good shape at this point in the draft. So let's say I want to take a look at what other teams have drafted. I can take a look at the teams, and that's my team. But I can also take a look at who Matthew Briacci or who he's drafted and see what his team looks like. Looks like he's done exactly the opposite of my strategy, and he's started with a second baseman and a third baseman, but he only has 1 starting pitcher. I can take a look at what Team 6 has. This is helpful if you're wondering or trying to decide between 2 players. If it's late in the draft and you're wondering if you have time to wait on shortstop, you might want to take a look at whether or not each and every team has a shortstop. If they do, that shortstop you want in the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th round might fall to you in the next round. If everybody's looking for shortstops late, you might want to take that player sooner rather than later because it's likely that other managers will draft him before it gets back to you. I can take a look at the draft results. So I can take a look at who is drafted in each round in case I'm wondering, where did Josh Donaldson go? Or where did Chris Bryant go? Or where did A.J. Pollock go? And the standings, these are the cumulative stats based on Yahoo's projected rankings. So if Yahoo projects each of your players to be 20 home runs and you have 5 of them, they will project you for 100 total home runs. It's a way of seeing how your team stacks up. It's also a way of seeing which stats you need to accumulate late in the draft. So that's been a walkthrough of how to participate in the draft. And don't worry, because the best part about Yahoo is if you don't draft, you're not out of luck. They will simply take the next available player that's highest on their draft board and put them on your roster for you. So if at any point you get tired of drafting or you have to go up and go to the restroom or you just get sick of the process, don't do anything. Yahoo will draft the next available player and they'll put you on an auto draft. Once you're on auto draft, there will be an option in the upper right-hand corner which will you can click off if you want to re-participate in the draft. So we'll see how that works. If I remove Trevor Story and I have nobody in my queue, they will automatically draft for me. And it looks like this. So they've automatically selected for me Dallas Keuchel. I didn't have to do anything. That was an automatic pick. So if you ever get worried about how much time you have, don't worry. Worst case scenario, Yahoo will take the next best player and put him on your roster. That's kind of a primer on the draft system and how it works. Remember, this draft is only giving us 30 seconds per pick to draft. In our league, you'll have a minute because I want to give managers more time to sort through their thoughts and pick the best available player. So you can see that I'm now on auto pick. Yahoo's put me on this one. If I want to jump back into the draft, I click disable auto pick, and now I'm right back to my draft queue. Just a little note, if I have players in my queue, Yahoo will, before they auto draft for you, they'll take the next best available player in your queue. So if you have to leave for a little bit, it's a smart idea to put players in your queue so that you know, so that you can count on what Yahoo's going to draft for you going forward. So that's a little intro into how to draft, along with what it looks like to do so, what the draft interface looks like. If you have any questions, send me an email. I would strongly recommend you jump into a mock draft, if only for a couple picks, just to get yourself familiar with how to do it, and also to make sure that your system has the compatible software and everything is up to date. Again, if you have any questions, give me a call or send me an email. I'm happy to answer them, and good luck with your draft.